Good. All right. And I think I can. Okay. Yeah, I'm not in my usual home base. So, okay. All right. So, how is everybody doing? Welcome to day 4 of Made for More Live. So, let me know in the comments where you're joining us from, how excited you are. You can post your emojis to let me know. Some of you have been here all 4 days. Some of you, this is your first day. If it is, welcome, welcome. Welcome, welcome. So where are you joining me from? You can type that. Dr. Khan's like, my happy emoji. Love it. I am in Atlanta, Georgia. It's cold for some reason. Dr. Amber, you're in Georgia too. Yes. Dr. Bukala is in Texas. Every time I think of Texas, I think warm. And then I go to Texas in November and it's cold. I'm like, why? Why? I did not bring a jacket. This is Texas. Dr. Khan says, snowy Detroit, Michigan. I feel you. You should come visit us in Georgia. I went for a wedding in Michigan in February. I told my cousin, don't you ever. This is the only time you get to get married in February in Michigan. Like, what were you thinking? Okay, awesome. Awesome, awesome. Let's change this to speaker. Dr. Alicia is in Raleigh, North Carolina. I have family in Cary, so close to you. Dr. Khan's like, that's when the snow happens. I know. That's what I was telling her. I was like, what were you thinking? What were you thinking? All right, so let me go ahead and spotlight this real quick. Okay. All right, guys. So first of all, welcome to day 4. I'm so excited, so pumped that you're here. We have been featuring a number of the doctors from the newest best-selling book, Made for More Live, written by 47 doctors who are, either students or alumni from the EntreMD Business School. So excited about the book because we're in this transition place where everything is about to change for physicians, and there's nothing as powerful as example. And we have tons and tons of these examples in this book of what is possible, right? So super pumped that I have some of the authors here. Now, I was also sharing some of the things that are success secrets that we've noticed from their stories. And so day 1, we talked about, the thing that every doctor who's going to thrive as a physician entrepreneur needs to do, which is make a decision and make the commitment, right? So decision, commitment. The second day, we talked about using speaking, whether that's speaking to grow your audience, speaking to nurture your audience, speaking to convert your audience, the clients. We did that, which is super amazing. Day 3, we talked about, which was yesterday, we talked about 3 ways to mitigate your risk, right, of failure. So one of the things that stops physicians from embracing entrepreneurship is the fear of failure. Fear of failure, fear of putting yourself out there, fear of what people say about you, fear of people saying you've gone to the dark side, AKA entrepreneurship, and all of those things. So we talked about that. We talked about accountability, we talked about coaching and strategic leadership. We talked about your community. And today we're going to talk about how to feel fear and market confidently anyway. So how many of you, when you think about marketing, you're like, is there any way for me to grow my business without doing that? Like, how many of you have thought that? Like, can I skip that part? Can I have somebody else do it? Can I pay somebody else, to do that for me? I think one of the docs here you're going to hear from today was like, can I do this without my name even being there? Like, can I use somebody else's name? Okay. So, but we're going to talk about how to do that and how to do that confidently, even though there is fear, okay? And there are 3 concepts that I want to talk about, okay? So now, if you missed any of the days, this will be one that will be great to catch the replay on. I'm going to post the link for the YouTube channel where you can pull that from. And we also talked about the EntreMD Business School. A number of you have applied and things like that. And we'll talk a little bit more about that later, okay? So let's talk about 3 concepts. If you're afraid of putting yourself out there, if you're afraid of speaking, if you're afraid of asking people to work with you, if you're afraid of owning your brand, like this is, I'm the leader in this space, if you're afraid of showing up as the expert, then this is going to be a lot of fun. I'm going to give you 3 simple concepts that you can start thinking about, you can start using, that will make a huge difference in your business, okay, and in your ability to market. And of course, you may be thinking, I'm an introvert, so I don't want to do this. Let me tell you, introverts can dominate marketing, okay? I'm an introvert. You may be thinking I'm a very private person. I'm a very private person too. And you might say, no, Dr. Una, you're all over social media. My business persona is all over social media. I'm a very private person, right? And some of the doctors you hear from today, it's the same thing. They are private people. So you can dominate this even if that's you, okay? Even if you're thinking, well, I'm a professional, I don't do this. There's a way to do it professionally, okay? But I'm gonna give you 3 concepts. If you get these concepts, they're concepts that will set you up to dominate your market, to show up as a thought leader in your space, to show up as a category of one, which is what we want, okay? All right, so the first thing, and this was the thing that helped me the most. The first thing is the fear never goes away, right? So there's nothing wrong with you. Like, I have to overcome this fear and then I can show up fearlessly and market. The people who show up fearlessly and market still feel that. They still feel, what will people say about me? What if the haters come for me? What if the trolls come for me? What if people think I'm not really an expert? Am I really an expert? Like, all of those things, they still feel them, right? I have felt them talking to 2 people. I have felt them talking to thousands of people, right? The fear never goes away. It's there, right? We just grow and decide, I'm not letting the fear vote anymore. Like, I'm in this position where I'm like, it's there. The thoughts are there, but I continue to go in spite of it. And I want to tell you how I stumbled on this discovery, right? One day I was thinking about something I wanted to do in my business. I think I was going to be speaking on some stage or something like that. And I was really thinking about, what people say. What if I don't do a good job? What if my message doesn't come across? What if people see me as slimy and sleazy and all of those kind of things? And I started thinking about it. It's like, you know what? I've been scared my whole life, right? Like, think about the process of getting into med school. Oh, will I get into that high school? Will I do well in high school? Will I do well, when I get into pre-med? Will my MCAT scores be good? Will this happen? Will that happen? What if this doesn't happen? What if that doesn't happen? And in spite of all of that, on the other side, here I am, this board certified pediatrician with 10 years of experience. And still the fear of something is still there, right? And I thought, you know what? I've done all these things in spite of the fear. I just stopped letting the fear vote. I'm like, you've been in the driver's seat, like, scoot over. You can be in the passenger seat. You can say whatever you need to say, because apparently you're very good at your job and you don't stop. But I'm driving and I'm going to go where I'm going. You can keep saying what you're saying. Your job is to keep talking. My job is to keep going, and we're good, right? And so you can actually do everything. You can market confidently. You can show up and tell people about your service, tell people about your product, tell people about how you serve people with the fear. You can do it confidently. The people you see that are very courageous, it doesn't mean they don't have fear. It means that they move in spite of their fear. Right? And so if you're with me, I just want you to type in the chat, like, I'm not going to let my fear vote anymore. I'm not going to let my fear vote anymore. I'm going to keep going no matter what it says. And the next thing about fear is that you can also interpret it very differently, right? I used to think that fear means stop. Like, once I'm afraid, I should stop. Once I'm afraid something bad may happen, stop. But I now got to this point where I was like, wait a minute, that's not what it means at all. Like, when I'm not afraid, it means I'm in my comfort zone. Every time I try to venture outside of my comfort zone, right? Every time I venture maybe to speak on a stage I haven't spoken at before, anytime I venture to talk about a new service that I haven't offered before, anytime I show up to talk in front of a new audience, fear shows up. It's only saying, it's just an indicator telling me you are about to step outside of your comfort zone, and that is the place where all the magic happens. There's no magic to be had in your comfort zone, right? It's like me doing kindergarten for the 5th year. There's nothing magical that's going to happen there. But what if I went to 1st grade and 2nd grade and 3rd grade and 4th grade, right? And so fear, you can actually get excited when you feel fear, because it means that you're about to step out of your comfort zone, which is the stage where I am now, where I'm like, wow, that's scary, I should do it, right? Because that means like, who knows what kind of result I can get from that, something I've never had before. Okay, so as physicians, I want to invite everyone who's listening right now to go like, fear doesn't mean stop. And the fear is not necessarily going away, which means I can go forward and I can make progress and I can make traction and I can have significant growth in my business. I can market like a professional. I can market like a champ, even though fear is still there. Right? So there may be parts of it that scare you. When we say, oh, go be a guest on a podcast, go speak on stage. When we say, start your own podcast, all that, there may be fear around that, but it doesn't mean stop at all, okay? Once upon a time, I was afraid of being on stage, but now I can talk to over 1,000 people at once. Once upon a time, I was afraid of starting a podcast, and 3 years later, here we are at almost 400,000 downloads. Like the fear can be there till tomorrow. There's days when I go to record an episode and fear is like, well, you finally ran out of steam now. Like all the things you were saying before, that was good. This right here, who wants to hear that? And it's so funny, every time I record in spite of that feeling, it's without fail, I'll get some PM for somebody who is like, oh my goodness, that episode you did, that is exactly what I needed to hear. And I took action on this. And look, I got an extra 10,000 bucks. In my business, I was able to start my business. I was able to launch my own podcast. I was able to cross the 7-figure mark from an episode I almost didn't record because fear showed up. Okay. So we're not letting fear stop us anymore. Like it doesn't get to vote. We can feel it and we're going to go in spite of it. Okay. Are you guys with me? Are you guys with me? Or are you saying fear is still going to stop you? Who's with me? Let me know in the chat. Let me know in the chat. Who's with me? Right? Dr. Susan is like, yes, me, exclamation mark. I'm with you. Okay. Hi, Makita. Okay. Now, the second thing, I told you 3 concepts. The second thing is self-focus amplifies fear. Right? Think of when you think about marketing. If I'm going to speak on stage, if I'm going to make somebody an offer, I'm going to say, hey, come work with me, right? If I am going to be a guest on somebody's podcast, if I'm going to do a Facebook Live and all of that, think about what makes us afraid. What if I mess up? What if I don't do a good job of communicating my message? What will people think about me? What if the haters come for me? Right? Every time we're self-focused, what it creates is more fear. And that's what stops us, right? But when you think about entrepreneurship, running a business is an entity that serves people, that helps people in a profitable way. Your business does not exist for you. Your business exists for the people you help. Your business does not exist for you. Like I'm here. I'm not here for me. I am here to help you overcome your fears so you can show up in your industry, in your marketplace, in your community, and you can market professionally, and you can market like a champ, and you can grow your business. You can establish yourself as a thought leader. I'm here to help you get rid of limiting beliefs that are stopping you. I'm here to give you a strategy you can use. I am here for you. And the more I focus on you, the better job I will do. The more I focus on you, the less fear I will feel, because I'm like, yes, I may not be perfect, but I have to give them a win. Yes, I may not be perfect, but I have to help them go further on their journey. Yes, may not be perfect, but if they can understand this one concept, everything changes. So I want you to think about your business. Why are you in business? Right? So Dr. Nerissa is here and she helps, really, let me put it in my own words. She helps kids understand that having ADHD is like having a superpower, right? And so she's there to help them. She's there to help them shift, like reframe that. She's there to help them use something that could be a weakness and turn it into a strength. It's not about her. The more she focuses on them, the more she focuses on helping them, the more she focuses on helping them see why they should work with her, the better she is, the less fear she has. When she's preoccupied with, how do I sound? How do I look? And that doesn't mean, I mean, we're going to work on how we sound and how we look and all of that, but how do I sound? How do I look? What do they say about me? What's that parent think about me? Me. Once you do that, your fear is amplified. When you focus on your people, your fear is minimized. Okay. So one of the best things you can do when you start marketing your business is looking at your business through the lens of your clients, through your audience. It's not about you. Many of you here are parents, and as parents, when it's time to take care of our kids, we take care of them. Our parenting is about them, right? Like imagine if we didn't parent because we thought we weren't perfect parents. Is there anything like a perfect parent? We're trying our best. Some of the stuff we're just making it up as we go, right? But we're out there, our focus is them, right? And so we confidently tell them on giving up the temper tantrum. We confidently tell the teenager on going to bed at the right time. We confidently tell the 5-year-old on eating their vegetables. No fear. No fear at all. Okay. So the first thing is the fear never goes away. Don't wait for it to go away. We go forward in spite of it. The second thing is self-focus amplifies fear. So we're going to walk away from self-focus. Okay. And we're going to focus on the real focus of our business, which is the people that we help. Okay. Number 3. And this one is like number 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. If you get this, it changes everything for your business. Number 3, marketing is one of the highest levels of service you can offer anybody in your orbit. Okay, so I want you to think about this. Dr. Latoya here, she's a board certified OBGYN, and she's like, she's a board certified OBGYN, and she's really into education, right? Like we should know about the risk factors in pregnancy. We should know about VBACs. We should know about these things. And so, she's on Instagram, she's on TikTok, she's doing education, she's doing all of that. But the people who have the best level of service with her are the people who actually get to work with her, right? Those are the people who are going to, like the people who follow her on social media, they're going to get a lot. But the people who are going to get the most are the people who work with her. Then with Dr. Bauer, right? She has a YouTube show that she does, and she has videos that she does every week, and she's really serving the community. But I have met people who are like, my son has ADHD as a superpower because of Dr. Bauer. Now, the people who are saying that are the people who did work with her. Do you guys see what I'm saying? You might be here, you're an obesity doc. You show up, you do a live show every week. People come, they're getting a lot of value, right? You've done all those things. And then somebody has the opportunity to work with you. You guys heard Dr. Toomer's story, and you see people who lost 40 pounds, 60 pounds, 100 pounds. These are people who worked with her, right? So when you are marketing, when you are selling, when you are inviting people to work with them, if you can lose the mindset that, oh, I'm manipulating people, oh, I'm trying to take their money, oh, they'll perceive that I'm greedy, like I'm already a doctor, I'm already earning well, why should I want more? If you can let go of that thinking and start thinking that what I'm doing here is one of the best things I can do for my audience, because I'm giving them an opportunity to get the biggest results possible they can get from me. If you can just shift that and see it that way, then you can give up the fear and market confidently. How many of you are here? Like, let me know in the chat. How many of you are here? You know that what you do has value. Like what you do in your business, what you do as your brand, what you do as a doctor. How many of you truthfully know that it has value? That when you work with people, their lives are different. When you work with people, their lives are better. How many of you truthfully know that? All right, let me know in the chat. All right, Dr. Latoya is like, oh, I know. Dr. Belter, I know. Okay, do you see that? If you know that, then one of the best things you can do is tell people, come work with me. Come sign up for my program. Come join my private practice. Come work with me. Why? Because the highest value they'll get is from working with you. Okay. Now, when I think about what I do, the way I work with doctors the most is through the EntreMD Business School. Dr. Valina says, now I know. I love it. No, I didn't know before. Now I know, right? But when I think about what I do, right, I have had the privilege of coaching hundreds of doctors at this point. And you have somebody who is like, oh my goodness, like I still work a job. I'm working on my brand, but I've been able to negotiate with a boss. I'm able to speak the language of business now. So I negotiated for a scribe. I negotiated for a 4-day work week. I negotiated for 2 extra weeks of vacation. I know that when people work with me, it creates value, right? You have someone who started a practice and they say, oh my goodness, I was profitable from day one. Year one, I was at $500,000. For some, year one, I was at $1 million. I know that what I do has value, right? When I work with someone and they say, oh my goodness, I cannot even recognize myself, right? Like I cannot, that is how much I've changed. I know. So what that means is when I'm marketing and when I'm selling and I'm telling people come join the EntreMD Business School, I'm doing it confidently because I know I'm not trying to manipulate anybody. I know that your life is going to be different. Your business is going to be different, right? And so you own that and let go of the thought that, oh my goodness, I'm trying to take advantage of people. One that comes up for doctors a lot is, oh, this means I'm greedy. There are many doctors who will not start businesses, who will not grow their businesses because it's like people will think I'm greedy. Like I already have the salary, I have the house, I have the kids in private school, I'm driving luxury cars. Like why am I asking people for money? Why am I doing that? Because I want to serve them at the highest level. Like imagine if you could think that. Okay. Now, why am I doing this? Because we talked about the strategy, right? On day 2, we talked about, speaking to grow your audience, speaking to nurture your audience, speaking to convert them to clients. But if you don't get these roadblocks out of the way, you will know the strategy, but you won't be able to implement the strategy. Okay. So remember day 1, we said, every doctor can live life and practice medicine on their terms. Every doctor can have their dream life. Right? We said that. And we said it's dependent on 2 things. You make a decision. This is what I'm going to do. And then the second thing is you make a commitment. I'm going to do what it takes. Okay. Now, what if living your dream life was tied to you understand that the fear never goes away? So you take action in spite of the fear. If you decided that, okay, focusing on myself amplifies the fear, so I'm going to focus on my clients, which is the real reason why I'm in business anyway. And you decide that I'm not gonna subscribe. I'm gonna unsubscribe from the stories of, I'm greedy. I shouldn't be doing this for money and all of those things. And I'm gonna understand that when I market, when I sell, I am inviting people to get the highest kind of result they can get from working with me. If that's the price for living life on your terms, and that's the price for practicing medicine on your terms, will you pay it? Will you pay it? Right? If that's what it costs, will you pay it? Right? We said we're committed. If we're committed, will we do that? Are we committed to doing this? Right? Let me know in the chat. Let me know in the chat. Are you committed to doing that? Yeah? Dr. Lum says yes. Yes. Dr. Susan said, oh, yes. Oh, yes. Right? So we're going to give up those fears so that we can live to our true potential as physician entrepreneurs. Okay. Okay. Now, before I bring up, I have 2 amazing doctors to bring up who are co-authors of the Made for More book. Okay. I'm going to bring them up in a second. But before we do that, Makeda put together something that is really cool, which I think will tie in what we've done for 3 of the 4 days. And it's a marketing audit, right? It's a marketing audit that will cover the mindset of marketing and the strategy of marketing, right? It's just weaving together what we've done. So for the business that you do have, like what are the things that you're not doing? What are the things you can add in? What are the things you can tweak to make a huge difference in your business? Okay. So we talked about the EntreMD Business School. And remember what we said, nobody's going to strong arm you to do anything. Okay. Your application is not a contract. It's just an application to get on a call. All right. So the EntreMD Business School, for those of you who are not here, it is the #1 school for physician entrepreneurs who want to build 6, 7, and multiple 7-figure businesses. Okay. It's a year-long program. Except you are like, I guess, Dr. Bauer and Dr. Latoya, you guys are what, second year? You're EBS masters? Okay. So except you're like them. So some people have been in for 2 years, some people have been in for 3 years. And then you can stay as long as you like, but it's at least a year long. And where you learn about sales professional, you learn about marketing, you learn about building a team, you learn about processes, right? And, truthfully, you learn about life in general, because the way you do one thing is the way you do everything. And so it is application only. And you can turn in your application. The goal of the application is for you to raise your hand and say, I'm thinking about it, I'm interested in it. When we get on a call with you, it will really be to help you make a decision like, absolutely, I want to be in the EntreMD Business School, or absolutely not. This is not the right thing for me. So the goal of the call is to get you to a decision. It's not to get you into the school, right? Because we want you to do what is best for you at the time. We're not trying to strong arm anything, because it is for people who decided and are committed, right? Okay. So fill in your application on entremd.com/business. You'll be able to do that call with Makita, and then you'll be able to do that marketing audit with her, which is a really, really valuable. I'm glad that she's doing it. And Makita, the people in the business school will tell you she's the one that's running the show. I just get to take the credit for it. Maybe, I don't know. She's the one who runs, tons and tons of sales calls, has closed hundreds of thousands of dollars in business. She was there with me when I started my private practice. She was there with me when I started EntreMD. So she understands business. She understands doctors. So it's a very valuable call that you get to do with her. So I have Dr. Latoya. We're going to take her first. She's the co-author of Made for More. And for everyone here who got a copy, thank you for getting a copy. Thank you for writing us reviews. It has been a #1 bestseller since the book came out on the 17th of January. So we're very, very grateful for that. So you're going to get to hear her story. Now, the thing is, this book is, I don't know, we turned in the manuscript, I want to say, a year before the book got released. They did a really good job of, editing and working it out, so you get a really good product. So we even have more stuff that's happened since then. So, but she is a shining example of what is possible. So I'm going to bring her up here. Dr. Latoya, welcome aboard. I'm going to, now there you go. You can unmute yourself.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Hi.
Hello, everyone. I am Latoya Lucas Sampson, Dr. Toya. Am I going ahead and introducing myself?
Yeah, so
okay.
So for me, I'm super excited you're here. And the other people are like, why is Dr. Una excited, right? So I want you to introduce yourself, and then we'll take you from there.
Yes, I am, as Dr. Una mentioned, a board-certified OBGYN, entrepreneur, speaker, and now best-selling author. Very happy about that. And I am now using my platform, Dr. Toya OBGYN, to educate women so that they can feel empowered to take charge of their reproductive health. So that's what I'm doing right now.
Awesome. Now, so what I would really love for us to do today, right, is, we talk about this thing of living life, practicing medicine on your terms and things like that. I really want people to get a feel for how different life can be, right? So take us to like pre-EBS, right? Like you were, I don't know what life was like that before you started, you bought into this Made for More philosophy, right? Before you bought into that, paint a picture of what life was like.
Yeah, so I was going through the motions, basically. I was in a very busy corporate medicine practice, an OBGYN practice that was very high volume. And I was very tired, poorly managed, understaffed, and just, dealing with it because I was very well paid and, it's what I do, what I was supposed to do. So I was just there going through the motions, really. And then COVID happened, like everybody, it rocked our world. And I had this business idea. This was 2 businesses ago. now. And I felt like I needed help to, navigate how to start a business. And that's when I was introduced to the Andre MD podcast and then the business school. So, I didn't even know that I was burnt out before EBS, but then it became very apparent once I started the business.
So you're in this place and you had thought about starting a business. And so for you, was it something that, like you came in, we're like, okay, we're going to do a business, and you're like, yeah, let's do it. Or did you have any hangups there? Did you have any fears? What came up for you?
Oh, Dr. Una, no, no, no. So, and this is what my chapter is about. My plan was that I was going to start this business and be completely anonymous. So it was going to be like a shell company. So I would start the business and not use my real name. I would hire somebody to speak for me because, I have an accent. It's a very distinctive accent, so you'll know it's me. So I'll hire somebody to speak. And I would hire a stand-in if I ever needed to do anything with video. So that way I could keep my professional self separate from this business, because my business was called, by default, it was an online directory, or is an online directory for Black-owned businesses and Black professionals who serve the Black community. It had nothing to do with medicine. So I wanted to keep it separate because I thought it was not professional, or I will be deemed not professional for me to be getting into this business. I thought it would rub people the wrong way, especially because it was, it involved race, and this is the country we live in. Like, there were a lot of different reasons. And just in general, I was not a huge social media person. I had kind of scrubbed my identity that was not medical off of the internet many years before, because I just was not into putting anything out there that was very personal once I became a physician. So it just didn't go together for me. Like, it was supposed to be something separate. So when I joined the business school and I had the business, and I was informed by Dr. Una that I had to tell my story, I was like, well, no, I'm not going to do that. That's not happening. But it turns out she was right, because she's right about everything. So, but it was a journey because of how that place that I was in mentally regarding social media and my perception of what was professional, and what was appropriate as a physician.
And then you went from this person who didn't want to be out there to someone who's dominating on social media and speaking and doing all the things, right? So
right, it was like magic.
Now, so before we go on, right? Somebody may be thinking about going on that journey, or somebody may be here and they're in the middle of that journey, and you know how it is. It may take a little longer than you expect, or things like that. What would you say to the person who's in the middle of it, right, or about to start? I would say, don't quit. Like, whatever you do, don't quit. It's good on the other side. But what would you tell that person?
Well, it's easy just to say don't quit, because that's what it is, right? Just don't, keep going, because you'll discover things about yourself that you didn't know and that you may have forgotten. And I think that's one of the things that was a very recent realization for me. And I posted about it recently. Like, I thought my evolution through this process and putting myself out there and being on social media made me want to be an educator and do what I'm doing right now. And then I, by happen chance, went back to my personal statement for residency, and it basically had exactly what I'm doing right now. My mission was the reason, the goal that I became an OBGYN, that I put in my personal statement. So it was something that I had forgotten, that I think was beaten out of me, especially in residency, because of some experiences that I had had in residency. And if I didn't continue, if I didn't start, first of all, with that first Facebook Live that I felt like I would almost die. And then if I did not continue doing the lives and starting the interview series, which Dr. Luna also forced me to do, like if I did not continue to do those things, I may not have gotten to this point where I'm now actually fulfilling my goals that I've always had. Like it's the reason that I became an OBGYN, right? So you never know what you will discover or rediscover in yourself. So you owe it to yourself to keep going. And it will only get easier with time. Like there's no way it's going to get harder.
Oh, you said it so much better than me. But this, you bring up something that is so powerful, and I hope that people heard it. And that is that when you embrace entrepreneurship, one of the greatest benefits is that you discover yourself. You discover yourself, you discover your purpose, you tune into your why, like why you're here. Like, I mean, I don't know of anything else that helps you bump into that like entrepreneurship. So that is so powerful. Now, so take us to, like fast forward to today. Like, we talk about living life, practicing medicine on your own terms. What does that, what does that mean for you? What has that experience been like for you? What is life like now?
Yeah, so life now is like a dream. Like, I took a lot of time off to help deal with my burnout and all that. And then I started my second business, which was my independent contracting, my locums business. So I am just doing hospital work right now. And that enabled me to just do part-time. The negotiation skills that I obtained through entrepreneurship, the self-value that I gained as well, enabled me to demand rates that are much higher than market value. So I was able to work a lot less. So in the last 6 months of the last year, I only worked 17 24-hour shifts. And I don't plan to work more than 4 24-hour shifts a month, if that, because I still taking time to get paid speaking events, to do advocacy work, different things like that. So I'm able to curate my clinical schedule to work around all the other things that I'm passionate about. And, of course, making time for my family as well, because I have a 2.5-year-old that you can't see, but I am pregnant. I'm about to pop any day now. So having the time for all of these things has been important, and it's been possible because of everything that I learned, everything that I went through. So I've just been able to curate the life that I want because of all of this.
Love. And guys, she took months off posting all these pictures from all over the world. We're like, what in the world, woman? And with her locum stuff, negotiating like a boss. Like some of the things she posted in the Facebook group, we're like, oh my goodness, right? Getting like 4 times whatever they offered in the first place. And so it just goes to show you, like, even when you don't have to leave medicine, right? Like you get to do what it is that you want to do. And this is what she wants to do. And that is what she's doing. So she has her business, she has her speaking piece that's happening, she has her advocacy, and it has been so much fun to watch. Now you had an opportunity over a year ago, almost. We're getting on 2 years, I think, at this. Yeah, we're getting on 2 years actually. And you had an opportunity to say, you know what, I'm going to be part of the EntreMD Business School. And I don't know what you were thinking at the time, right, when you heard about it. But somebody's in the middle of that decision this week. Right. And what would you say to that person who's like, yeah, I know, but I don't know, I don't know if I have the time. I don't know if it worked for me. I don't know if, if I'll get a return on my investment and things like that. What would you say to that person?
Yeah, I had all of those same concerns. The biggest one was the time, because I am an OBGYN and then I was working full time. And I was like, well, how am I going to commit to this? What if I can't make the live sessions? It's also a lot of money. Like, how, like, am I going to do all this? And different things helped me decide. And it was people who were in the business school during one of like a discovery call or whatever, something similar to this, who had said, you know, you can get the replays. And they said they had something that they said that really pushed me over the edge. And I can't remember the quote, but basically the resources are there. I didn't make all of the live sessions. I did a lot of replays. I did a lot of the podcasts afterwards. So you still get the value of the live sessions, even if you can't attend live. And even if you miss the coaching, there's coaching in the group. There's a community that's so helpful and is so wonderful, that part of it, I feel like, is definitely worth it. And then in terms of the money, somebody else who's not even in this school right now, she convinced me to join though, told me that she, as a part of a lawsuit settlement, which is a long story, had an executive coaching program that was paid for her, and it was 6 months and it was 25 grand. And she was like, these were, you know, all sorts of different people. These weren't doctors. So she's like, this is a steal, really. And there's so much value there. She's like, if she was not in the place at the time to join, but she's like, she definitely would have. And that also, you know, just pushed me over the edge, because I was like, well, people are charging this for coaching. This is a specific physician coach. I had listened to the EntreMD podcast and felt so inspired, felt like I binged it and finished all of the episodes at the time. So I knew there was value there. So it really just made sense for me to take the leap. And at this point, just like some of my colleagues, somebody just posted in the group, my husband, everybody, we know that this is the investment that needs to happen. Like, it's something that needs to happen. It is what it is. We are in EntreMD and we will continue to be here. So yeah.
Oh, man. Okay. So thank you so much for sharing that. And thank you for answering questions that, you know, people may be asking. I remember that post, the doctor was with the accountant and, you know,
Yes.
her husband, and then her husband, I guess the accountant asked, like, what is this line item, EBS? What is that? And her husband, who's not in the school, is like, that is a non-negotiable business investment. And I was like, telling me as a fan for life, like, I'm his fan. But guys, really, it is about the return on investment. It is about building a business that gives you the freedom to live life and practice medicine on your terms. Dr. Latoya is 1.5 years in. You've heard her story, right? And she took us all the way back. And Dr. Latoya, thank you for doing that, right? You took us all the way back. It's not like you were born an entrepreneur. You're afraid of all the things. You had scrubbed yourself off the internet, right? And you thought business was not professional and things like that. But here you are. Here you are. And for someone listening here, that could be you, okay? So again, don't stop yourself. Fill out an application. You have questions where the team is on standby to answer them. And this is about serving you and helping you be part of the group, because this is what I say in the EntreMD Business School all the time, that we are building the most innovative, most impactful, most profitable businesses there are, right? We are a new breed of physicians. I'm like, they're not ready for what's coming, okay? They're not ready for what's coming. So Dr. Latoya, thank you for sharing your story. Please let's throw up some emojis in the comments, and congrats again on becoming a best-selling author of Made for More. Thank you for sharing your story, because this book is really pivotal in the physician community. And years from now, people are going to walk up to you and say, your story made the difference for me. So thank you. Love it. All right, go see all the love in the chat, okay? Love it. Okay. Now, if you can handle more, I have here Dr. Narissa Bauer. Oh my goodness. Okay, let me hit this unmute thing, okay? Dr. Bauer, please unmute yourself. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Hello. Thank you for having me here tonight.
Of course. Okay, so people are like, why is Dr. Una so excited? Okay, so introduce yourself to the audience. I cannot wait to share your story with them.
Thank you. So I'm Dr. Narissa Bauer. I'm a behavioral pediatrician and creator of Teach Me ADHD, as well as CEO of Let's Talk Kids Health. I am in my second year of EBS, and I am now a best-selling author.
Yes. How does that feel though? I'm a best-selling author.
Amazing. It was one of those things that I never wanted to say out loud because I really did want to be an author, but I just, for some reason, saying that kind of was scary. And you helped me realize that dream. So thank you.
Oh man, this warms my heart because when we started this project, I was like, if you guys have read through the book, you'll notice I don't actually have a chapter in the book, right? Because I was like, I want them to come together. I want them to write this. We worked so hard on it because I was like, I want it to be a book that 5 years from now, 10 years from now, they'll still be so proud of because it's a classic. And they can say, I'm the best-selling author. I'll just add that to the bio, So this is good. Congratulations. This is super exciting.
Thank you.
All right. So your story, again, part of what makes this book so powerful is it's not a highlight reel. Right? You paint the picture of, where we started, where we are now, and things like that. So talk to us, because now you're doing so many phenomenal things, which we're going to talk about in a second, but talk to us about what it was like. You'd already started doing some stuff pre-EBS, but talk to us about what it was like. Why the need to, go even further? Why the need to press in, like I'm made for more, and invest in yourself and do all of those things? What was life like before?
Yeah, that's a great question because my background is that I came to EBS as a former academic. So as a behavioral pediatrician, and many of us, when we go through med school, you do your residency and then for some do fellowship. And then I also got a master's of public health. And then, from there, looked for a research position at an academic institution. And I loved it. And I'm so glad that I had that experience because it's made me who I am and it's helped shape who I am. But it just got to the point where it wasn't sustainable. I was not happy. I was burned out. And I am normally the doctor who everybody thinks has a smile on their face all the time. And it got to the point where I was not like, I couldn't do that. It felt like I was putting a mask on. But in academia, it was really important to have a mentor, to have a mentoring team as you're writing and, preparing your grants. You have a research team around you. And when I decided to make the leap to leave academia, it was exciting, but it was scary. And I was like, I don't have a captain to this ship. Like it should be me, but I don't even know what I'm doing, So after some time off from burnout, trying to figure things out, having some time with the family, I knew that I needed to find a community to just help keep me afloat, give me direction. Of course, I can Google stuff and YouTube things and try to figure it out. But with support and coaching and help of a supportive community, you just get there so much faster. And it's just so validating to be in a room with some people that can inspire you. And I just felt like, you know what, these are my people. It was a no-brainer. So
I'm happy to be your people. How about
that? Yes.
Because you bring so much value to the community as well, right? With the EBS Commonwealth, as we call it. So paint a picture for, because entrepreneurship, you've embraced it. You found your tribe. You know, I'm going to need some support here. I'm going to need some guidance and things like that. And you did that, right? So where are we now? Right. So you left academia, you had a decision for what you wanted to do and things like that. So it's been a year and a half or so, or almost 2 years at this point. So what is life like now? Are you practicing medicine and living life on your terms, or is that just a fancy slogan?
You know what? I am living life the way that I want it. And did I know exactly what it would look like when I left academia? No. but I had the choice, I had the ability, and that's the difference. I knew I needed something different at that time. I didn't know what it was, but I was able to have the option. And now it's taken some time, but I now have my own direct specialty care practice 2.5 days a week, thriving. I've had to close my panel a couple times because I've just had, too many people that I'm trying to get in those 2.5 days, but and then just reopened again like last week and got 12 new client requests. So it's wonderful to be able to know that I can help people who need a behavioral pediatrician. So I do that part of the time. And then the other part, I have a private podcast for my members. As I mentioned, I created Teach Me ADHD in the midst of the pandemic. And now I'm in the working phase of copyright and licensing that. I'm in the middle of my 8th time of offering Teach Me ADHD. I've helped now over 100 families across 18 states. And every time I do this class with these families, I'm just so excited to be able to be the one to do this with them and to see the transformation of these kids coming out of their shell and realizing it's cool to have ADHD, it's pretty awesome. And they accept themselves for who they are, it's like full circle for me, I get to create this life. And it's so in line with my life's purpose that it just feels so good.
Okay, so I'm having chills here. I don't know about you guys, but I have, like I was saying earlier, I have spoken to, and not spoken asked them so how is Dr. Bauer really? They're coming out and they're telling me, I worked with Dr. Bauer. My kid is this kid who has this cool thing called ADHD. And I'm a pediatrician, so I know how hard it is with that diagnosis and things, but to take something like that and turn it into a positive is truly a gift. And then to be able to build a business around your gift is the best ever, because you're working, but it never feels like work. I have never worked at EntreMD ever, never, because I'm I could do this all day, every day, right? And so what you do is so powerful. And what you do is not just for the kid, because you work with the whole family. And it's just mind-boggling. So when you said 100 in 18 states, I didn't know you were up to 100. That is phenomenal. Yes. Phenomenal.
Thank you.
So again, a very beautiful picture of living life, practicing medicine the way you want. And if you follow her on social media, her family time is on point. I was I even need to get her to come talk to everybody about how to do this stuff, right? Her family time is on point. Her business, the way she wants it, with part of her time with her specialty care, the other part with these kids and their families. So amazing. So amazing. Now, again, at the end of the day, life is at the mercy of decisions. That's why I keep coming back here, right? And there was a pivotal moment where you said, you know what? I'm going to go all in on this. And you could have not gone all in on it. You could have said, what will be, will be. I'm so glad you didn't do that. Okay. So, but you made that decision. And I have no doubts that you had doubts. I have no doubts that you had questions, but you made that decision. And from that vantage point, somebody else is at this critical moment where they could say yes and go all in, or they can say, maybe later, or we'll see what happens, or what will be, right? Or this is just the way it is. I want to talk to that person for a moment. I have no idea what you're going to say, but talk to that person who's kind of in that defining moment, for want of a better term.
Yeah. I distinctly remember when I was in that decision phase, and I remember posting in a couple of the physician Facebook groups, okay, so if you were in my position trying to figure things out and needed a coach, I've been hearing about this coaching thing, would you pick a physician coach or would you just pick a business coach, and why, And I was kind of sifting through all the comments, and of course, Dr. Una's name came up time and time again. And then I had the opportunity, I like back messaged a couple of people who said, Dr. Una. I'm like, okay, tell me for real. Like, tell me what's going on. Like, what is this about? Right. And one of them was Dr. Karen Kaufman. So, I really thank her for sort of helping me see why she joined as well. But I will tell you that the reason that I decided to go all in, yes, it was a lot of money at the time. And I was like, gosh, do I really want to do that? And then I thought of the investment, and it was really thinking about it as it's an investment in myself, and as a parent, as an adult, you're like, oh, we have to put our kids first, right? But to really do this and to do it where I can say now, a year and a half in, 2 years in, where I am, would I have known 2 years ago that I would be here? No, but that is an investment in myself, and I owed it to myself to do that. Secondly, the physician community is phenomenal. You've heard many people throughout this week say your network is your net worth. I mean, it is for real true. I mean, I have made so many great friends and collaborate, who we collaborate with each other. We help pull each other up. And entrepreneurship is hard. Because you feel like you're always on, right? But if it's your passion, like it's okay, but there's still going to be times where you're like, oh my gosh, I still have to go live again, or, and we can help each other. And so to me, after sitting with this for a while and thinking about the various decisions, when I finally kind of, thought about it, I really felt that you couldn't beat it for the networking, the collaboration opportunities, and just, again, being in the room with other people who understood that, we're doing medicine because we were called to, help other people. How can we do that and turn what we were called for into something more? And with Dr. Una and with everybody in the business school, it has really been truly the best decision ever, an investment that I don't think you can, that you'll regret. So thank you.
Oh, thank you. That was so good. I hadn't heard that part of I don't think I'd heard that at all. I know I've interviewed on the podcast, but I don't know if that came up.
Yeah.
Again, and Dr. Ann, hi, Dr. Ann. She just did her first webinar and launch and things like that. So good. She's like, agree, Dr. Narissa. Okay, so congratulations again, best-selling author. Can we show our speakers some love in the chat? Took their time. Dr. Latoya said, I'm about to pop any moment, but I won't miss this. I'm here. Okay, so let's show them some love in the comments. Thank you so much for coming on and really painting that picture, right? It is important that as physicians that we see that we are made for more. And we can have more, and we can live life on our terms, and we can practice medicine on our terms. This is no longer a unicorn thing. There are so many people doing it. I could pull doc after doc after doc, and you hear the same, it's the same concepts, right? But the stories will be different. So first of all, Dr. Latoya and Dr. Narissa, thank you so much for coming on to share your stories. Congratulations again on becoming best-selling authors. For everyone else who is here, if you are like, I am made for more, I am deciding, I am committing, there is a place for you. It is called the EntreMD Business School. Go turn in your application, entremd.com/business, okay? entremd.com/business. And like I said, for the people who applied today, you're going to get that call where we're going to help you make a decision. Again, we're not manipulating you. This is absolutely or absolutely not. And for everyone who applies today, you also get that marketing audit with Makita, okay, who is a guru at this stuff. So thank you guys so much. Tomorrow, it's going to be author galore. Okay, so we're just going to sit in, we're going to do deep dives in the stories of some of the authors. You're going to meet Dr. Anyoku, Dr. Lara. It's a number of them. It's going to be so good. If you haven't had a moment to watch the replays, because we did really good content, they're going to be in your email within the hour. Okay, so you can check that out, or you can check out our YouTube channel, Dr. Unachukwu. It's already there. Okay. All right, people, this was great. So let's throw those stars. What did we do today? Did we do 5 stars, 10 stars? I got 10,000 stars on day 1. Okay, we've been doing great. Google will have a problem keeping up with us. All right, okay. I'm gonna let you guys go. I want to be respectful of your time. I'll see you tomorrow, same time, 6 p.m. Eastern. Thank you again to our speakers and our authors, and I'll see you then, okay? Go turn in your application.